Old school Pokemon here, back again with my usual co-host, Catch 'em All Collectibles, Dan, on the Pokeflips podcast.
In this video, we highlight a clip from our most recent podcast. We hope you enjoy. Another thing in the news big lately, that's not for me, but there's a lot of interesting conversation around it. These signings, do either of you have any one, like, are you aware of what went on this past weekend in Baltimore and in Ocala? And what do you
100%.
think about like the whole signature situation we've got going on?
Yeah, it's I have one signature from Kaiba, and it's cool. I got it done myself, not personalized. Didn't even think about that when I was getting it signed, but he signed it, Eric Kaiba Stewart. It's pretty awesome. The whole stuff going on in Ocala and Baltimore, a lot of scummy things. Obviously the people that were paid to be there that didn't jump lines, pay for extra tickets. Shame that they didn't get their full experience maybe on day one, had to show up at a day two just to get any experience, and they, after waiting tons of hours in a line, it's bullcrap. But the people jump in line, there should be ashamed of themselves. And some I see buying VIP tickets, whatever, but buying then extras or whatever right after and jumping the line again, that's BS.
And I think, I mean, there was an event in Norway or something a week or two prior, and it went fairly similar, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
I think so much more of it comes down to the organization. Like what happened, it's very analogous to what happened with PSA in 2020. PSA failed to do simple math, and PSA failed to just shut down lower tiers, charge for supply and demand. At the end of the day, no matter what your feelings are on it, there is more demand at $30 or whatever they were charging than these artists are capable of pumping out in a 2, 4, 8, 12, 20-hour window, whatever they're signing over. If I am tasked with if I was tasked with running PSA, very, very simple math. You can grade X amount of cards a day, and if you're taking more, the backlog grows, and that's bad. If I'm tasked with running a signing event, I mean, right now you have a data set because you just had an event with Saito, and I think he signed, like he put a lot of work into the sketches, and that's all great. Like that's awesome for the people who got to go and experience that. I think he was doing something like 8 to 10 an hour, like very, very slow, which is fine. But like if it's an 8-hour signing event and he's doing 10 an hour, I learned this I think you're taught this in second grade. I think I was pretty good at math, and I might have known it by like first grade or kindergarten. 8 times 10 is 80. Very, very simple to do. No more than 80 people are getting signatures that day. The fact that there are lines and there's campouts and there's all these different things going on, why doesn't someone do the basic simple math and determine how many people are going to get them? Then the only consideration you have to deal with is, how do you want to go about distributing them? Do you want to sell them 80 to the highest bidder? Do you want to charge $500 a piece, $700 a piece, whatever the market will bear? Or do you want to like pick out 80 kids randomly that look the happiest and look the most excited? And however you want to dole them out, I don't care. But the fact that there are people camping out and there are people waiting 12 hours and then not getting signatures, that is absurd to me. That should not be a thing. You know how many can get signed in the fixed amount of time you have. Dole them out however you want to dole them out. I have my own ideas for how I would want to, or how I think would be reasonable. But that's a whole different consideration. The fact of the matter is, like, the second that it starts and even the day prior, everyone who's getting one of those 80, or whether it's 80 or 800, if it's a Rita just pumping out to a minute, or I don't know how fast any of these people are, but everyone who's getting one should just know. There should be no, like, all these issues going on. That's just insane to me. It's like PSA mismanaging the whole backlog situation because they wouldn't just do basic math and then manage it properly.
Yep.
Yeah, but I that's the biggest thing for me is I don't understand how there was so many people at the event hoping to get a signature, and then only so many people able to get a signature. I don't know. I don't understand. Like exactly like you were saying, why they didn't cut off the line.
Because they were only
so
charging
many tickets.
There's this weird. I actually made a post on E4. I hadn't posted on E4 in quite some time, but there was a thread about it, and there's this weird entitlement type thing, and this is probably going to be very unpopular opinion. There's this weird entitlement around, I'm a true collector, I really want it, I deserve it, and you shouldn't charge market price for certain things because then people who aren't as well off financially can't get it. And I get the sentiment, but at the end of the day, like, if I am a car guy and I'm a car aficionado and my lifelong dream is to own and drive a Ferrari, I'm not entitled to that by any means. A certain amount are created. It's subject to supply and demand. I can't just say, like, I love Ferraris, I deserve one, I should get to drive one. No, like, it's a capitalistic society. That's just the way things work. If and when they do an event where it's just $300 a signing, it sucks for people who can't come up with that amount of money. But, like, what other way do you want to do it? Do you want to let people pay $30 and then sit for 12 hours in the cold and maybe rain and snow and then still not get one? No, it's way better. And again, this goes back to, like, maybe if Saito can sign 80 in a day, maybe you sell 50 of them at $200 a piece, whatever the market will bear, very, very high. So then all the Richie Riches can get in there. And then the remaining 30, you give them to the happiest smiling faces in the place. The youngest kids, the truest collectors, maybe all 80. Maybe you book it. And if that's what Saito wants, and if they want to work for less and they want to handpick who's deserving, then do that. But you should never have a scenario where people, hundreds of people, dozens of people, however many people it was, are waiting without knowing whether they're getting one or not. That's just absurd. Sell them for more money or give them away for free, but just, like, let the people be known who's getting them and who's not. Because that's just crazy.
Yeah. And then yeah, I would agree with that. And then I just think it's so scummy for why do you need more than one signature? People who post 25 Charizards fanned out, you do not need 25 Charizards signed. There is only one intention of doing that.
They were giving away free money. I don't think it's scummy to make money.
Scummy.
It's not scummy to make money.
That is beyond scummy. That is absolutely ridiculous. That guy has more money than most of us in the hobby, and he is just beyond greedy. He took away 25 opportunities from other people to get a signature, all to make money. That is it's stupid. That's gonna take away people from the hobby, because people definitely got turned off from the hobby because they weren't able to get a signature. And if you're just solely focused on the money, you're going to destroy the hobby in the long term.
And I think that's just event mismanagement. I think it goes back to, if someone's that baller enough, I mean, in sports it happens. There are private collectors who just, like, reach out to some rookie who there are situations where people do private signings for $100,000 or $50,000. If and when some big baller wants to call up a Rita or call up a Rita's representative, I think Pokemon really cracks down on stuff like that. I don't know exactly how it all works, but yeah, to me, like, I don't know the exact, so many accusations being thrown out in videos and Instagram stories and whatever. Like, I don't know the specifics of it, but at the end of the day, like, if someone went and paid for VIP, or they got the panel things and they had some friends go with them, like, as long as they, like, I heard of some people, and I don't know who, and cutting in line, physically just skipping people, like, that's obviously all bad. But if people had legitimate tickets that they paid for and they bought and paid for, and they decided to bring a few people with them, I don't really see issues with that. Again, like, mismanagement led to dozens or hundreds of people standing in line for hours and hours, not knowing thinking they were going to get one and then not getting one.
What about using your personal VIP ticket, getting out of line and buying somebody at the con their VIP ticket who had no intention of using it for a signature, and then getting right back in the VIP line and doing that over and over.
It's not something I would have done, but if it was being allowed, like if people were playing by the rules that were set, I put it on the setup. Again,
Yeah.
like it's kind of shitty that so many people flooded PSA with shit cards so that the truest collectors couldn't grade their cards for $7. I was one of them. I chucked out 5,000 cards. Am I a piece of shit because I graded like it's analogous. It's a similar thing. And I just think PSA managed the backlog terribly. I think it's a terrible setup just inherently to have hundreds of people in a room, many of which aren't going to end up ultimately getting a signature. Like why and how you set up in that way when it's a known capacity thing. It's simple math. Figure out the capacity, dole them out however you want to dole them out. Highest bidder, or give them away all for free. Rainbows and unicorns, everyone's happy. The truest of true collectors all get it. However you want to do it, just don't do it where tons of people have that bad experience by design.
It sounded on Thrifty TCG's podcast, she mentioned on day 2 they learned and put black X's on people's hands after they got one sign.
Yeah, and if that's like, if people were doing multiple laps and they weren't supposed to be able to, and they couldn't on the fly come up with some system to prevent it, like, I don't know what was going on there. I wasn't there. Everything I've heard is second, third, fourth, fifth hand. But at the end of the day, like, I know math, and I know math could have been done to prevent many of the issues, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, I do put most of the blame on the event organizers for just like what you were saying. But from like a philosophical standpoint, there is definitely blame to put on people who are looking at the event just for money. I think that's different than the PSA backlog. I just don't see those two events being the same.
I graded 10,000 plus cards just for money.
Yeah, but I just see, I don't know. I don't see those two being the same, because everyone had an equal opportunity to grade cards for a year period before grading shut down. Not everyone had a year period to get a signature from these people before they shut down. It was a 2-3 day event.
Yeah, but pre-COVID, there were many Arita events. Arita has signed many times, and he will into the future too. Like, it's not, well, given how poorly it went, and some people like following people back to their hotel room, all this other crazy stuff, it might end. Like, they might not be a thing going forward. But we've had this weird scenario where the past 2 years have been tough. There's not been many signings because of the pandemic. But like into the future, if these things were organized and ran well, and the artists didn't get like harassed and bad experiences for so many people, there's going to be a lot more signings if and when they run smoothly. So like, people just need to be patient, not FOMO into everything, and things need to be organized so that people who are getting the signatures know, and people who aren't. Yeah, like, I won't stop going back to the fact that it's just basic math. Figure out how many things these people can sign in a fixed amount of time, and then just give out the slots however you want to give them out, but just know what that limit is. Because at the end of the day, it's supply demand. Arita was signing for, I believe it was $30. You're selling it for way under market value. Clearly, there were way more people. It's like when concerts go up, or when limited shoes go out, or when the Charizard UPC drops on Pokemon Center. I don't know how many they'll have, but they'll have way less than there are people who want to buy it for 120. So some people will bought it, scalp it, flip it, whatever. Is that wrong? I mean, we buy stuff. I'm paying $80 a Charizard UPC. I'm not selling it for 120. Is that scummy? A lot of people think so. Do I think so? No. I'm going to be cheapest on the market when I sell it. Going to be a hell of a lot more than 120 though. There are many people out there who make the argument that no one should be able to buy from wholesale distribution and sell above retail. but then they also want like they don't want $140 booster boxes. They want their $90 booster boxes.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, like there's so many issues you get into when you have like you need to stress test your own beliefs and thoughts in one area against like analogous things in other areas because they are quite analogous. When you have a product that's just artificially being sold for cheaper than what people are willing to pay, either $120 UPCs or $30 Arita signatures, you're going to have situations where people merch that, where people buy it to resell it. That's just the nature. Like it happens with sporting tickets, concerts. You have 60,000 seats, and you have 500,000 people who want to go for that retail price. So then it gets botted up and it gets sold for triple, because triple is the equilibrium point where, okay, we'll fill instead of the $100 concert, now they go for an average of 300 on StubHub, because that's where the equilibrium falls on 60,000 people getting into that stadium. Like that's just capitalism. That's just trading money for finite limited goods. And in this case, the good is someone's swiping of the wrist.
Yeah, but I think it's see, I just see it differently, because it's like the whole, like when you're buying something like the Charizard UPC, you're buying that item. But when you're going to get that signature, you're meeting the artist, you're interacting with them. I just don't see it as being the same as going out and buying something. I think it's more special, and there's a lot more limited quantity of that signing than the Charizard UPCs, for example. But that's just how I see it. Obviously, you're never gonna get into that ideal world of people being decent human beings and getting one signature per person. But that is 100% the way it should be.
Even that though, not everyone leaves happy. If everyone got one, the way the numbers sound, the way some of the pictures I saw, if everyone only got one, not everyone would have gotten one still.
Oh yeah. With the way this one went, it sounded like there was way more people than, even if everyone got one. There still wouldn't have been enough room.
And then some people
I think it would have hurt less. I would imagine, just because you're not seeing this one person with a whole bunch of signatures.
And no matter, well, like someone can go on eBay and they can start buying them all up too. Like no matter what you do at the end of the day, no matter how you dole out. So let's go back to the 80 number. Say there's 80 slots for a given day. If you like, what would be, in your opinion, the best way to dole out those 80 slots? Would it be like $30 a slot? It's launched at noon on a Wednesday, and the first 80 people to buy them get them for $30? Because you know what happens with that? A bot gets them, and then they're resold immediately for like triple or more. And then some amount of people who go in person, they have the wristband or they have the ticket or whatever it is. Someone offers them 300 cash, 500 cash, they sell it. Like there's no way around, at the end of the day, the capitalistic part of it, because people are going to buy spots in the line. People are going to buy the wristband, whatever it is. Some amount of that's going to happen. There's unless you're gonna like make them have an ID and it's tied to your ID number, your social security number, or like unless you go like really, really crazy deep. And then at the end of the day, that person is gonna go through the line, get the signature, because like when an item is being sold for so cheap and it's worth so much, like $300, some of these cards are having $1,000 added to their value. That's what a lot of people make in a week.
Right.
Yep.
Like people will go and gladly sit in the rain, in the snow for 12 hours to make $1,000 or $500. Like they normally have to trade 40 hours of their life for that, and now they're making 4 times what they make at their job. So like you're never gonna get around that core like hurdle. It's people might not like it. It might not make you feel good, but like that's just like a market doesn't care about your feelings scenario. At the end of the day, if there's a limited good and more people want it, then at the given price, like the price is going to go up and people are going to pay. So yeah, in this, like what I would ask to people who don't like what happened, what is the ideal way to do it? And people are going to either have some dream scenario that isn't realistic, or it's just going to end with one guy leaving with 50 signatures still, because he's just going to go and buy them all.
Yep.
Like there's no way around that happening, in my opinion. And I say in my opinion, but I think it's more factual than opinion.
I think there is definitely stuff that they could do, like the personalizations. I think they should have matched IDs with the personalizations. All these people getting Ash, Brock, Misty.
That was required. Some of that. So,
well, no, like those specific names.
Well, when they were doing Arita, like to Arita from Mitsuhiro Arita, that was actually one of the predetermined. I forget if that was in Finland or whatever, but there was a period where they were going so slow, having everyone do their own name, that they made you choose between trainer and Arita and something else. So like you could only choose between 3 things, because I saw Java Ukuma actually made a video saying how disrespectful it was that people were doing 2 trainer from Mitsuhiro Arita. I believe it was the Finland event, and then Your Average Player actually commented, or a couple other people commented that they requested you do that to speed things up. And then he came back and he kind of like retracted some of it in the comments.
At that point.
It's also silly, like going back further, some of the blame being on organizers not doing the simple math and then doling out the limited amounts properly. Some of it goes back to Pokemon just having really silly regulations, because there's videos out there about how to remove personalizations. It can very easily be done. Days, hours, days, even months after the fact, you can very easily remove Sharpie from a card. And so like they're mandating that they do it to hurt the secondary market value, but there's an undetectable way to easily reverse that personalization. So like Pokemon is just having this like weird policy that no one really wants, that it's not really effective. Like I think that should go away, because it just doesn't make sense. It in a rainbows and unicorn utopian perfect world, I understand like the goal behind it, but it just functionally doesn't work. So just stop it. Stop that mandate. It doesn't do anything. There's no perfect solution. In a perfect world, Saito and Arita could drive to everyone's house and spend an hour or a day with you and sign every item and talk to you about your favorite illustrations, and that's not going to happen. What we're going to have is a handful of events a year and maybe a couple hundred signatures per event, and you have tens of thousands of people who want them. There's never going to be enough. And then the day that there becomes enough, the day that Arita just like starts signing 1,000 stickers like the sports guys do, and sends them out, puts them in every product, puts them every, then people aren't going to even want them as much. Like so much of people's desire is the exclusivity, and like this comes a very philosophical, a very core human trait. Like people just like things. Going back to your guys' conditional rarity, you like the fact that you have the one in the world of however many tens of thousands. The day that these people, these artists start signing significantly more, like if they really just go pump them out, people aren't going to want them like that. The values are going to go down and people aren't going to want them. People don't want $80 booster boxes. People want $180 booster boxes. People want things that are expensive. People like to buy high. It's just the world we live in. It's the way things go. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to bring it up because I thought it would lead to good rants, and I think it did.
No, yes, you did. That was good. That was very good.
I think some people definitely won't like what I said, but I think emotions aside, again, it goes back to the market doesn't care about your feelings, and you have a limited good, and the price is going to go up on it. And however you want to dole it out, it's going to be, yeah. They're going to concentrate to the money. They're going to concentrate to the people willing to pay the most. Whether they're hiring people to stand in the line, whether they're just buying from the people after they go through the line, it is what it is.
If Arita were to show up CollectCon Denver, are you standing in line for 3 hours?
Absolutely not.
It's one thing. You would be in line with friends. So like you could just be hanging out, you could be opening packs in line, you could be looking at binders in line. But like if by Denver, I mean Denver's only a few weeks from now, but if someone doesn't get it into their heads to just do the math, don't by design have hundreds of unhappy people. It makes no sense. Like at Collecticon, when you have like Nato Cheney, or when you have
Goku.
when you have these other people who you can feasibly, like whatever they're charging, supply demand, you can feasibly get everyone through the line in a weekend for the hours of signing. It makes sense. Like a lot of those signers you walk by, there's no line. There's no like that's easy. You just set them up at a table, you charge market rate, and X amount of people get through. If and when you do a Rita or Fukuda, or like say they have Sugimori do one someday, do a test run, have them sign for an hour, calculate how many they sign in an hour, and then extend it out and dole out the right amount of tickets. I don't care how you give out the tickets, but do not by design create hundreds of unhappy people. People flew there. Like I don't know anecdotally of any one specific person who flew there and didn't get one, but I guarantee you there was one. There are people who drove hours. There are people who waited 12 hours. Imagine spending $1,000 to travel there and 2 days of your life, a weekend of your life, and then not getting one. Like that's why like market value, what these go for on eBay, when people inevitably, they already are selling some on eBay. It's pretty reasonable what they're going for in the greater context of all that. I won't get into the rants on my thoughts on PSA authenticating signatures and all that, but as far like I've seen a lot of people comment signatures should be worth a lot because look at what just happened. I agree from that supply side, supply demand side. I get it from that side, but the day that Arita just if he does 10 events a year where he's signing 500 items an event, it'll catch up, and the demand will largely go away when the supply becomes too large.
Look forward to it.
Yeah. Would you be in line at a
Hell no.
like I went to I went to 19 Worlds, that we had a private signing for E4 with Imakuni. I didn't even go to that. I mean, I had the ability to go to that and pay whatever it was for the signatures. Going back to like the memorabilia thing, going back to like I love the Rangers. Lundqvist was one of my favorite players to watch. Darrell Revis for the Jets. Like very infrequently do people care about defenders as much. Like usually it's the quarterback, the running back, wide receiver. I loved watching Darrell Revis play. He would literally put people on an island. Like he shut people down. He shut the big guys down. It was crazy. Do I care to like wait for hours to get a signature on something, even value aside? Like I don't care. I have a Revis jersey. I don't care to ever get it signed by him. I don't really care to even meet him. I don't get the whole like celebrity thing. Like I loved watching the guy play, but what am I going to talk to him about? Oh, I loved when you caught the ball when the other team was trying to catch the ball. Lundqvist. Oh, I loved when you like didn't let the puck in the net, and I didn't like it when you let the puck in the net. Maybe I'm weird. Like maybe I'm weird. Like maybe people. I don't know what people talk about with these artists when they have them signing the stuff. I think a lot of them can't even speak English. Some of them can't even speak English. So like I functionally couldn't even talk to them. Maybe through a translator or whatever. But like I just don't have anything to say to my favorite actor or my favorite athlete or my favorite artist. Maybe I'm strange for that, but I just I'm not into that whole thing.
Yeah, I don't think there's a living person on earth that I would spend an hour in line waiting for a signature right now. Unless I knew it's gonna get me millions of dollars.
Yeah, like I would literally only do it for money if the money
Yeah,
made sense.
it
But
would.
like,
Yeah,
like the shitstorm that has been the last few events, like I wouldn't even want. Because imagine now, like if you list an Arita signature on your eBay in the next couple months, people are gonna be like, "Oh, is that did he wipe that one? Did he
yeah.
scalp it? Did he flip it? Did he steal it from some baby in Ocala? Did like." I don't even want to be at.
I hope people think that way. Just stop buying from these people who are selling these cards. But no, I would never the 2019 Imakuni signing. That was like my ideal signing. We were there for about a half hour. Everyone got signatures. I don't remember if we had to pay anything. We probably did.
I think you did.
I don't remember. It could not have been very much. But you got a card signed, which is really cool. Still got the card. Brings me right back to Worlds, which is really cool. But as far as ever waiting in line hours on end to get a signature, definitely not. The Worlds one was awesome because it was nice and quick, in and out. Got to meet him, got to have him sign a card, which is really cool. Definitely not something I'd ever sell. It's a nice memory of the Worlds event. So I do understand why people appreciate signatures and all, but as far as the monetary aspect, I don't understand that part. Or waiting in line.
I'll give you 10K.
I don't think I would do it. I don't think I would actually. I honestly don't think I would.
You've got other mementos from that trip.
I actually don't. I honestly I sold everything but that. That is literally the only thing that I have left. 2019.
Do you still
Worlds.
have that uncut sheet you bought from the treasury? Or from the
I still have that. Yes.
See?
The $2 bill.
You have another memento. You have another memento. I even remember that one. You've got your lanyard somewhere, probably.
Okay, the lanyard, yeah. But all like the deck boxes, the sleeves, stuff that I bought from the Pokemon Center. I sold all that stuff. And that was my first ever in-person event. So that one does hold a special place in my heart. What are you looking for over here?
I'm not looking for anything. No.
Somewhere I have them, but I don't know where. This is my my Pokemon Saves the World, the box break in Vegas, and then this is Charlotte. I save all these as my mementos for the events. But yeah, I just, again, whether it's ink on a card, whether it's ink on a glove, a puck, a stick, it doesn't do anything for me. For like, whether it's the art, like I've heard some people say, let my favorite baseball player sign a bat and I'll love it. And then I've heard some people say, like, I just don't care because it's not like Charizard signing it. I don't care about the artist signing it. I'm not either. Like, I don't care about either. If I have a Lundqvist card, if I have a Shesterkin card, I don't really care to have their ink on it. If I get it myself in person, it's better. But again, I'm not going to wait for it. I'm not going to pay for it, really. I randomly, like, I've mentioned it before, but I was not brought up into the NHL, NFL, MLB, NBA. None of the mainstream sports. I was brought up into NASCAR. I have a Jeff Gordon Rainbow Warrior jacket from when I was probably like 7. I met his dad. I met Robbie Gordon, and Jeff Gordon's dad signed my jacket. And nice. I have a hat that Mark Martin signed. So I have a Mark Martin signed hat. He was there. He was through the fence. I think I was like 7 or 8, and my dad, like, hey, that's like, I recognized him too. Like, that's Mark Martin. I think I just like thought that's what you do. I had heard and seen of people getting famous people to sign things, and I just like instinctively did it, asked for it. These days, like, oh cool, it's Mark Martin. Like, hey, go win the race today, buddy. I don't know. So yeah, there's a bunch of autograph chat because it's the hot latest news.
Hot off the press.
Yeah.
Hopefully your booth is well positioned at Denver to avoid the signature lines.
Oh God.
Let's hope so.
Are we?
I honestly, I don't even remember. I think we're towards the entrance, so we can't be too close to any signature lines.
I don't know, the ones at Long Beach, they started right there. They like span the whole length of the building though. Long Beach was small.
Long Beach was way too small of a convention center. That
aren't we like 35?
35 or 36.
There they are.
Let me see if I can zoom.
I think we're 36 across from Whatnot.
So
yeah, no,
okay.
I said we didn't want to be next to DFW.
Wow, shots fired.
Actually, though, DFW is looking a little bit better now that
wow,
our boy decided to go be a TikToker.
Wow.
So here's all the booths. Here's all the signing booths over here. Oh, I don't think you can see my mouse, but over on the right side. And
Yeah.
so yeah, we shouldn't have issues with that. Oh no, there's more over here, but still we're a ways away.
But Goku if he shows up. No.
Yeah, like same thing goes for if they have a booth. Like what was the guy charging whose line was so long?
50, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what people were saying. And he had a line the entire weekend.
But even that doesn't make sense. Like the first hour that I saw that happening, if I was an event organizer, it would be like, okay, someone go get a spool of tickets. We're gonna go down the line. Hey, we're gonna write 8 to 9 a.m., 9 to 10 a.m., and we're gonna do 50 per hour or whatever his capacity is, roughly. And you're gonna have a little bit of like, it's not gonna be perfect, it's not gonna be exact. Slide in VIPs who want to pay more, like just slide them in every so often, whatever. But like, don't have hundreds of people waiting in a line. It makes no sense. Sell 50 slots for this hour window and 50 slots for this hour window. Like,
it was brutal.
Is that unreasonable proposal? Is that I don't know. Feels like things could just be managed better.
Yeah. Call Matt.
Chirp. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, because I mean that's like all those people are not shopping with your vendors during those times. All those people are like clogging up traffic lanes, and it's some amount of those people are literally getting that signature and then leaving. And like it's good for you, people that want to be out being out, because didn't they run into some situation where like the fire marshal said no more people are allowed in the building?
Yeah, they reached capacity of the venue.
So like if 300 of those people were in the lines and they would have just left had they gotten their signature, or like, hey, come back at 2 p.m. and get your signature. Well, then they could have gotten like a couple hundred more people in or whatever, right? Sold a couple hundred more tickets. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm way oversimplifying how easy it would be to manage, but I don't think I am.
I think like an actual signing event, I think it would be different. With the Collecticon, I don't think they really knew how popular he would be for a person coming to sign, because this was his first time there. So I can kind of see why that was turned out to be a mess. But with like a specific event for that people are going to specifically for this one signing and not a whole show, I think that's a little bit different. That they really don't have an.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to smash that like button. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and press that notification bell so you don't miss any more of our future content.
Another way to support the channel, both of our eBays are linked below via an affiliate link. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you all later.